Hi and welcome. So this is the F-14 basics pilot cold start under training. We're just going to go through this mission and see if we can complete it. There's a few things it tells you to do which don't actually make sense unless you know what you need to do. So it'll just tell you to do it, but it doesn't tell you how. You can read the manual, but that still doesn't quite answer the question. So let's go through this and see how we go. The startup mission that they've got here looks great. You can tell they've put a bit of effort into it. So here's our plane. We've got a few F-18s on the deck. So it's telling me in the top right to connect the area and the power. So let's just do that. Okay, so that's connected.
As you might know, the F-14 has a pneumatic engine startup system. And as it also lacks an APU, we have to order the plane captain to connect the starter air. We also have to order him to hook up the ground power.
Air supply is now connected.
Do this via the radio menu under category Ground Crew.
So that's
Please
done.
do this now and then press spacebar to continue.
So we'll hit spacebar.
Now, switch on the oxygen to your mask.
We know the oxygen is back here, so we're going to click on that.
The next step is to verify that the wings are in oversweep.
Now this
Check
I
the
don't
wings visually
understand at this
and
point.
verify that the emergency wing sweep handle is
It
in the
says
oversweep position,
to put
which
it
is
in
the
the
farthest
oversweep
back
position, which I
The
presume
over
is
flag
this where
should
it is
also be
already.
visible on the wing sweep indicator. Press spacebar to continue.
And we can see they're above one another. And if you look at the oversweep indicator, this is not making a lot of sense to me at the moment. But I think this little gadget here goes up and down, and it's saying oversweep, and so 68 is meaning that it is in the oversweep position. Let's keep going.
Now it's time to verify ICS functionality for communication with Rio and ground crew. To allow communication with the ground crew with the
Basically,
canopy
just
closed
hitting this
later
hot
on,
mic, so you're
set
just right-clicking
ICS
it once.
to hot mic. Ask
Right-click
Jester
that once.
to initiate the non-assisted startup using the Jester communication wheel. The first step on his list will be to check communication. Respond that you can hear him using the Jester communication wheel. Also check that the landing gear position indicator indicates all down and that the transition light is off. Jester will now also start to initiate systems in the back cockpit and will eventually tell you to arm your ejection seat. Do not respond to that yet. Press the spacebar when done. Roger.
ICS comm check. Roger that.
Not much that we can do here. This is off and that's off, so we're just going to hit space.
Check warning lights by pulling up the master test switch. Move it to the LTS position
This is a
and then
nightmare.
push it in.
Ejection seat.
The master test switch is pulled up with a right click. Move clockwise with a left click, and then pushed in
So,
again
like
with
these
another
switches
right
over
click.
here, you can just turn them by
Verify
right-clicking
that
or
all warning,
left-clicking. You
caution,
can't use
and
the scroll
advisory
wheel.
lights illuminate. Coordinate
So
with
we're just
Rio
going to
to check his
right-click,
lights.
left-click once, right-click,
Use
and
this
we'll go
function
in.
to also set the brightness of the ACM panel and the indexer lights. These controls are located on the master light panel.
Not really going to do a
Press
lot there.
spacebar when ready.
What we could do is turn the lights on. I'm going to switch them all to 9, just so we know what they're on. Some of this is very hard to read, which I'm sure it's like that in the real plane, but if we're just learning, it does make it difficult because we're just trying to find stuff. We'll hit space.
Now lift the master test switch and move it to the fire detection and extinguishing
this
position
is fire
and
detection.
press in. Check that the left and right fire light below the ACM illuminates, and that the go light on the master test panel also illuminates. Press spacebar when ready.
I presume it's talking about this, and over here this. There was something else it talked about, but I cannot work that out at this point. So we'll hit space.
Finally, lift and switch the master test switch to the instrument position and push it down to check the flight instruments. Verify that RPM reads 96%, EGT reads 960 degrees Celsius, fuel flow reads 10,500 pounds per hour, AOA indicates 18 plus or minus 5, wing sweep indicates 45 degrees plus or minus 2.5 degrees, fuel quantity reads 2,000 plus or minus 200 pounds, oxygen quantity reads 2 liters, left and right fuel flow lights illuminates. Jester should now also confirm that his indicator displays the same fuel quantity. The left and right stall warning lights will also flash during this test. Press spacebar when ready. Set the master test switch to off. Arm the ejection seat using left shift.
I think it only turns around one way.
Jester should have already told you to do so, and he will continue his startup now. Once you've armed the seat, Jester will close the canopy and warn you about it.
I'm closing the canopy.
Recommend you tuck those fingers under your pits. Press the spacebar to continue.
Now it gets
Now,
a little hard.
check and set the following on
All
the
right,
ACM
let's
panel.
start.
Gun rate to desired. Sidewinder cool to off. Missile prep to off. Missile mode to norm. Also verify that the station loading windows correspond to loaded armaments. Press spacebar when ready. Verify that the emergency stores jettison push button light is out, and that the ladder light is also out.
The ladder
Press
light's
spacebar
down
when
here,
ready.
usually. But they've all been talking about the ladder light, but I haven't even found a way to bring up the menu and tell them to take the ladder off, either on the ground or on the carrier. So yeah, they all got all this information about the ladder, and I have not seen it yet. It's not a big deal, but I just, you know, they keep talking about it, and I can't remove it. I can't do anything with the ladder. That doesn't even exist on this panel. So yeah, at the moment, not sure about that ladder.
Wait for Jester to confirm he's ready to start the engines if he has not already done so.
I'm sure he's ready.
Confirm that the air source switch is set to off. Also, set the hydraulic transfer pump switch
mostly
to
just
off.
seems to change the sound.
Press spacebar to continue.
This is already off, so you don't have to do anything. You can lift it up and put it back down, but it's off.
Now, move the emergency flight hydraulic switch to low.
Now this is
Check
really
that
hard
the
here.
on flag is visible in the emergency flight low hydraulic pressure window. Also verify control
I can't
over
see what it's
horizontal
doing
and
at
rudder
all.
control surfaces on the surface position indicator. Press spacebar when done.
So we'll just hit space. Now once you get up to here, I cannot change it. I can left click, I can right click, I can hit space.
Next, move the emergency
Which
flight
I think it's
hydraulic
already
switch
on.
to high. Check that the on flag is present in the emergency flight high hydraulic pressure window. Re-verify control over the control surfaces on the surface position indicator. Deflection rate should be higher than in low. Press spacebar when done.
And just hit space.
Move the emergency flight hydraulic switch to
Now
auto,
this is
low.
basically impossible, because I have no way
Check
of
that
doing
the off
this.
flag is present in both emergency flight low
Can
and
left
high
click
window.
everywhere, can right click everywhere,
Close the
can use the
emergency
mouse
flight
scroll
hydraulics
wheel,
guard.
does nothing. And then emergency flight hydraulic guard, there's just no mention of what that is. So I'm very, very puzzled at this point in the tutorial. I can't even read it at all. I mean, I presume that's high, but I have no idea what's going on here. All the lights are on. I can put this on to try and help me. I still can't actually understand what's there. Left clicking, right clicking, nothing. So just we'll left click everywhere. We'll right click everywhere. Okay, we use the mouse scroll wheel everywhere. None of that's doing a thing. So I don't know if there's some way to reset this. Like we could go back to this, the steps we did just before, and spin this around, but that seems to be doing nothing. We can hit space on it. So now we're really at the point of just hitting every button on the keyboard because I cannot get past this step. So I'm just hitting every button on the keyboard. Yeah, let's just tell them to spot because I've got nothing else I can get them to do. That's the kneeboard, so that's just K on the keyboard. Bringing up menu. Not telling us very much. Alt. Trying the right controls, all arrow keys, delete, control, home, the print buttons. This is pausing the game. Using the unlock pad, I can zoom in and out. That's nice. So I can just look away from the problem and just hope it doesn't exist. I don't know what that is. So I get to this point and I have no way of showing you guys how you get past this. So if you guys have the same trouble, let me know. And now, just out of the blue, I've right-clicked on that, and it suddenly moved, and now it's gone back. So is there somewhere in this area that you have to click particularly? One left click, two left clicks. Okay, so on the bottom part of this here, where this is, we're going to click about here in the center. Let's see what happens. Right-click, and we're going to right-click again. And look at that, and it's now switched to auto. So the place to click is going to be right about here. You're not able to left click on it. You can left click maybe in the center, left click, and then still not working. No. And then left click again, it gets to there. And then we can right click, and then we can right click, and it gets back. Okay, so we got past that point. Excellent. Let's hit spacebar and see what happens. No, it's still wanting to guard or something. Back to normal. So there's not much up here that I can click. Anything else mentioned, guys? We've got a master caution light on up here. That's just great. Is there something up here we can click? Okay, so there's a cover. So once you finish that, you then put in this cover, the black cover on it, and left click on that, and it puts the cover back.
It will disengage automatically at 50% engine RPM.
Okay, the engine thing we know.
When the engine
engine's
RPM
over
reaches
here.
20%, check for oil and hydraulic pressure, and let the start valve caution light illuminate.
Yeah. Okay, so what engine do we want to start
when at 20%,
first?
Move the selected engine throttle to idle to actuate the ignition system and fuel flow.
Now right-click the engine code switch to R for right engine.
Seconds. EGT temperature should peak around 40 to 50%
seems to be the right engine
and not
first.
exceed 890 degrees Celsius.
We'll let him go on,
constitute a hot
and we'll
start.
just start the engine while he's busy.
If the engine crank switch doesn't return to center after 50% RPM, set it to off manually before 60% RPM. If the start valve caution light stays on, tell the plane captain to disconnect the starter air. Now, right-click to switch the engine crank switch to right for right engine, and when at 20%, move the right throttle to idle. Verify that the right generator and right fuel pressure caution lights turn off at 59% RPM and before idle RPM respectively. The engine instruments at idle should read RPM 62% to 78%, EGT 500 degrees Celsius nominal, fuel flow 950 to 1400 pounds per hour nominal, nozzle position 100%.
Okay, so we're going to disconnect the external power.
Nominal, 15 minimum.
Let's do that.
Flight hydraulic pressure 3,000 psi. Then, order the plane captain to disconnect external power.
Turn off the ground power.
When done,
So it's right engine
press
first
spacebar
and
to
disconnect
continue.
the
Copy.
external power. Push space.
Now, to check the combined hydraulic pressure, switch the engine crank switch to L for left engine, but without moving the
Do
left
the
throttle
left
to
engine.
idle. When the combined hydraulic
Just looking
pressure
at
reaches
this over here
3,000
again.
psi, switch the engine crank back to off. Press spacebar when done.
It says to do this, but it's asking me to switch the engine crank back to off. What is it actually talking about? Switch the engine crank to L for left engine, but without moving the left throttle to idle. Strange.
Now, with the left
Hang
engine
on.
spooled down again, switch the hydraulic transfer pump switch to normal. This should
Switch
pressurize
the
the combined
hydraulic
side from the
pump
right engine
switch
and
to
maintain a
normal.
pressure between 2,400 and 2,600 psi.
Keep
When
showing
correct,
this.
set the hydraulic transfer pump switch to shut off. Also, if it does not pressurize the combined side within 10 seconds, immediately set the hydraulic transfer pump switch to shut off. When done, press spacebar to continue.
So there's something here with a check on this. We'll hit space.
Next, start the left engine the same way you started the right one. As a reminder, the engine instruments should read RPM 62% to 78%.
This seems kind of important.
EGT,
You may find yourself in
500
some
degrees
situations
Celsius
where
nominal.
the engine won't
Fuel
start.
flow,
You'll just get to
950
free.
to 1,400 pounds per hour nominal.
So if
Nozzle
that's the
position,
case, this could be very
100%.
important to know.
Oil, 25 to 35 psi nominal, 15 minimum. Combined hydraulic pressure, 3,000 psi.
Okay, we'll hit space on this if it lets me. Not a lot happening here. Some of the other planes you can hide the joystick. Doesn't seem possible with this one, at least at the moment. Not sure what the story is there.
It's now time to tell
Okay,
Jester
so I
to
just
start
left
the
clicked
INS
once on there,
alignment.
and that did that.
This process can take up to 8 minutes depending on conditions, so it's best to start it as soon as possible after engine start. It's
Yep.
dependent on the parking brake to be set and will stop if that is released.
We never took it off.
To see what Jester sees and how the alignment is progressing, turn on the HSD and set it to TID repeat to see what he sees on the TID. When you see data on the HSD TID repeat, bring up the Jester command wheel and select desired INS alignment quality. In this case, select Fine.
Okay, let's do fine. I could have done this ages
You
ago,
will now
maybe.
see Jester enter the required parameters for INS alignment and then select the alignment mode. When
There's
the
something here
INS
about
starts
TRD.
alignment, the TID repeat shows a status bar with a symbol moving left
We haven't
to
even
right
put
with
these on
extreme
yet, so
right
let's just
being
do
a
that
final line.
first. That'd be a good start.
The numbers to the left of
I'm
the
also gonna
status
go
bar
over.
show minutes and tenths of minutes in alignment. We are now free to continue our checklist. Press spacebar to continue.
Yeah, I don't know what Jester's doing, but that's cool.
Turn on the stability augmentation system. Set all 3 SAS switches to on.
Yep, so we're just putting all these up.
Set the master test switch to emergency generator. The no-go light should illuminate for about 1 second before the go light
We're
illuminates.
going back here now.
Press spacebar when done.
So it wants this all the way around to here where I think it says emergency gen. Maybe that's not enough. Maybe that is. We'll hit space.
When setting the master test switch back to off, we simultaneously check the Voltage Monitor Control Unit, or VMCU. The following lights should illuminate for just under 2 seconds. Pitch stab 1 and 2, roll stab 1 and 2, yaw stab, Oscar Papa, and out. Spoilers, horizontal tail authority, rudder authority, autopilot, and Mach trim.
So I mean, if you want to do this every single time you start this plane, feel free.
Check for the lights. The rudder authority light will not go out until reset by the master reset push button, and pitch and roll SAS switches will now have turned off. Turn both on again. The AHRS light might also illuminate momentarily.
I think what we're going to do is we're just going to turn this off.
Press spacebar when done.
And we're hitting space.
Next up is to check the augmenter fan temperature control, or AFTC.
Dude.
Begin by setting the left engine select switch to SEC. The left engine SEC light should illuminate on the caution panel, and the left nozzle position indicator should point below 0.
Left SEC,
then,
something
set
like
it
that.
back to PRI. The caution light should go out, and the nozzle position indicator should now show 100%.
That's great.
Repeat for the
Okay,
right
so it's on
engine
primary.
using right engine select.
Yep, we did that. That's great.
Press spacebar when done.
I can't even see it. I'd have to move my camera view.
Now, set the wing external transfer switch to
So
off.
this could be important.
Set UHF function selector to both.
That's off already or
Set
not?
TACAN
It's now
function
off.
selector to transmit receive. Turn on the
UHF
ARA
selector to
63
both.
power switch. The remaining displays control switches
Hang on,
and the
down
radar
here, guys.
altimeter by scrolling up on the control knob.
Okay, it's on both. The TACAN selected the TR. This one is going to be TR, so this is something we could do very quickly. TR, both. Turn on the ARA power switch. The remaining display control switches by scrolling. Okay, hang on. We got over here. I don't know what I'm meant to do to turn it on. Up on the control panel. Doesn't seem to do a lot. And we've got something here. Can put it to on. Hang on, there's another switches here. They're already on, so we'll just put them on anyway.
Check that the
Hopefully
pitch
that's
trim
good.
is 0 on the surface's position indicator. With no control input, it should read at 0 degrees.
I need to do.
Erect the standby attitude gyro by clicking the control knob and turning it until the indicator matches the current attitude. The standby attitude gyro should be erected at least 2 minutes before takeoff. Then, press the master reset push button. Press spacebar when done.
Not seemingly able to do a lot there. Then hit the master what? It's a master reset push button. That's great. So we push that. And we go back down here, hit our master reset button. Does that fix it? No. So we right click it, left click it, use the mouse scroll wheel. Not a lot happening. Our wing sweep thing has come on. That's about it. We'll hit our master reset again. Try space and see if we can continue. It keeps giving me these lights, which there's only 2 options, so that's that one.
Now, extend the speed brake partially and retract it. Then extend
Speed
it fully
brake. Okay,
and
this would be
retract it.
nice to know about.
Check for a fluctuation on the stabilizers to verify the automatic trim is in operation when the speed brake is extended. Also, fully extend the refueling probe by setting the switch to all, and then retract it.
Okay, if you
Check
can
for
tell us
normal
where
operation and that the
that is,
transition
that'd
light
be really
illuminates
cool. Hang
when
on
in
guys,
between the
this could be
extended
important.
and retracted positions.
Rain repellent.
Finally, cycle the windshield air switch.
God.
Press spacebar when done.
Okay, fully extend the refueling probe by setting the switch to all. And then retract it. But where is this magical switch? So it looks like under here there's some important shit. The landing gear is here. And then we can't actually see what we're doing. So let's try and move over and see what we can see over here. Okay. So we've got one switch here. Fully extend the ripple, just switching it to all. So did something happen? We've got a refueling probe. So that's that. And it's gone. Okay, so that's all there is to the refueling probe, it seems. We'll try and send it to view again. And we'll hit space.
Set the wing external transfer switch to off and depress the master reset push button. Press spacebar when done.
Set the wing external transfer switch to off. Well, this is in the off position as far as I'm aware. And we'll just hit master reset again and hit space.
It's now time to extend the wings and check the control surfaces. It's important to note that as we will extend the wings, it is absolutely critical to verify that the wings will clear any obstructions present.
Yep.
If not, or if you're doing a carrier startup, this will be done later. I will inform you at what point the checklist continues when doing that kind of startup.
That's great.
As we have the space, we will now do it anyway for instructional purposes.
Ready to taxi.
Move the emergency wing sweep handle to the fully forward position, 20 degrees. Engage
20.
the spider
Okay,
detent
so this is
by
20.
pushing the handle down and close the guard. Again, this will move the wings.
And we're going to lock it.
Select wing
So
sweep
we're going to
auto
put it to
if
here and then right
necessary to
click on
sweep
it.
them fully forward. As the wings come out of oversweep, the horizontal tail authority light will illuminate momentarily as the stabilizer
So
locks
don't think you can
disengage.
right click it until it's moved.
Press the master
see
reset
how it's
button to
moving?
reinitialize the automatic wing sweep program.
Now it's out.
Press spacebar when done.
It's not moving anymore. We can right click it and that should lock it in that position. That looks, so that's what this is doing. So that's like a lock. So once you've got it to the position you want, you can then lock it there with the right mouse button and then it stays there. Okay. Where are we meant to have it? Swing hand fully forward, 20 degrees. Engage the spider detent by pushing the handle down and close the guard. Okay, don't know what it wants me to do, but we'll hit space.
Set external lights according to the situation and check their operation. Fully extend flaps and slats by moving the lever fully aft. Check for full deflection, operation of outboard spoiler module, and that the stabilizer's trailing edge moves up 3 degrees.
I'm sure it did.
Verify the full range of motion of the control surfaces and that they move with normal speed. Verify horizontal tail shift with DLC input. Set the master test switch to stick SW. The spoiler light will illuminate and all spoilers should fall down. After deflecting the stick more than 1 inch in each direction,
I'm
the go
doing what
light should
now?
illuminate.
I mean, I've never seen so many
Turn off
master
the master
tests.
test switch. Press spacebar when done.
More than 1 inch in each direction. The go light should illuminate. Turn off the master switch and press space when done. Yep, okay.
Set the anti-skid spoiler brake switch to off. Retract the flaps and slats. Use the thumb wheel to extend the maneuver flaps and slats fully.
Okay, I think that's enough.
Now select 50 degrees sweep with the wing sweep mode switch.
The
You
what?
shouldn't be able to move the commanded position to more than 50 degrees. If you can, immediately select auto.
So I'll just put it to
Retract
here and
the
then bring it
maneuver
back.
flaps and
No,
slats
dude.
fully with the thumb wheel, and then
Very
select
straight
bomb
through.
mode with the wing sweep mode switch. Check for normal maneuver flap and slat retraction. Press spacebar when done.
I'll just put it on 50 and hope for the best. Alright.
Now, open the guard, pull up the emergency wing sweep handle, and move it to 68 degrees, and hold it there. When the oversweep indication appears, move the handle to oversweep and push it in. Select auto on the wing sweep mode switch and depress the master reset push button. Set the anti-skid spoiler brake switch to both if not on the carrier. As we're on the carrier, we'll leave it in off. Press spacebar when done.
Hang on, it's saying 68. Pull up the emergency wing sweep handle and move it to 68 and hold it there. So 68 is down here. Okay, so it's at 68. We'll just close this thing. It doesn't quite seem to be at 68. We'll go with that.
At this point, the checklist for carrier startup or startup without wing movement continues.
Oh,
To press the
started.
SET knob on the radar altimeter to initiate the built-in test. The display should indicate 100 feet and the green light should illuminate.
Yep.
Release and the display should show 0 feet. The altitude low light should illuminate and a warning tone should be heard by both pilot and Rio. Check displays for desired mode. Check IMU heading on HUD, VDI, HSD, and BDHI.
If you didn't know any
Note
better,
that until the INS alignment
you
is
would think
complete,
you'd have to
these
do this
displays
every
will be
time you
degraded.
loaded the plane
Check
up.
flight instruments for normal operation. Press spacebar when ready. Before we can taxi, we have to wait for the INS to finish
finished.
alignment. If the HSD TID repeater still shows the INS alignment page, wait until it's done, and
Yeah, we're
Jester
good.
tells you that you're ready to taxi. When ready, press spacebar to continue.
Okay, so let's do that.
The aircraft startup is now complete, and you're ready
Wow.
to taxi. This concludes this lesson.
Still don't know how to take off,
Note
but
that
cool.
you can also practice the startup procedure with the help of Jester-assisted startup. Try it out, for example, in an instant action cold start mission. Simply select Assisted Startup from the Jester menu, and he will read you each item of your checklist and guide you through the procedure. Feel free to continue familiarization of the cockpit controls and practicing taxiing. Otherwise, exit the mission using Escape, and then exit.
So that's the first mission, guys. I hope you found that useful. Feel free to continue familiarization of the cockpit controls and practice taxiing. Otherwise, exit the mission using Escape and exit. So I'm supposed to hit Escape and then exit at this point in time. So what I'm going to do is just make sure that the parking brake's off. Can't tell if it's on or off. I'm just going to take it off. Okay, plane moves. We can turn around on that thing. Now what I don't know is if there's a high mode on this carrier to be able to turn. I'm just going to try. If I hold down S like you would on the F-18, doesn't seem to do much, and there doesn't seem to be a high mode. So that's one of my questions at the moment. Is there a high mode to turn more sharply with the F-14 Tomcat? Because I cannot work that out at the moment. I've done this mission and it hasn't told me anything about that. So maybe we'll find out more about that in the next one. But for the moment, we will end it there. We could just do this all day. And thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. I'm going to try and go through all the missions, and as I can understand them more, we'll explain more. Later.